Ramses, I've got a few questions about this Mezco 112 Wolverine. You think you can help me out with that? Does the figure have great articulation? Do you see similarities throughout the Mezco 112 collective line?
Does the figure have great articulation? I'll be honest, no it doesn't, but you don't buy a figure like this for the articulation. As far as the entire line, most of these figures have subpar to minimalistic articulation. From the 3 I have purchased, I can kind of get that feeling. So no, it's nothing to write home about, but it's above average, but nothing amazing.
What are your thoughts on the price? Can you tell us what makes a figure like this have such an exuberant price tag?
My thoughts on the price. So the price goes for around $150, and for an average for a Mezco figure, you're gonna pay around $100 to $125 usually, and that's usually because they include an overabundance of accessories along with the cloth material over the suit instead of the typical plastic suit you would get with a Marvel Legends. So for this Wolverine, I will say it's based just off the special box edition, but I also don't think it comes in any other variation than the steel box edition, so you're kind of in a dilemma there.
So I don't know too much about these figures, but from my understanding, there is one big difference between the base figures that you get and this figure that you have purchased, and that is that you get a steel box. Now, there is a $50 price difference between the base figures and this steel box edition figure. Do you think that's worth it?
Alright. So you see the steel box and you go, that's all you're getting, just a steel box. And at surface level, yes, it sounds like that's all you're getting is a steel box. And the steel box is in the vein of like an old school lunchbox style with an old school comic cover on it. So yes, you're getting sold on the nostalgia and novelty fact of the box, but you're also getting the deluxe version of this figure. And Mezco is known to give you tons of accessories anyway. So what do they do with this? They give you tons of extra heads. They give you tons of extra hands and extra claw variations. They give you they give you an extra belt. They give you even slash effects. They give you 2 stands, a display base and the typical Mezco stand. So yeah, they pack a lot into this steel box. So in a way you can say that's a little bit more worth it because of that. But yeah, I guess in reality I didn't see, because I see there's another Wolverine, but I don't believe that Wolverine is the same exact one as this one. That one isn't a steel box edition. It looks similar, but it's not this one. So when this is the only version of this Wolverine out, I mean, you kind of got to go bite the bullet and just get it if you really want a Wolverine that badly.
Is the cloth on this figure comparable to other Mezco figures that you've purchased?
So I'd say comparable. It depends on the figure. So that's what I've learned. So I have a Spider-Man and this Wolverine. They have the same typical soft, thin cloth on their suits. But for a character like the Batman, that figure has a more like pleathery, hard kind of cloth material, fabric-y material on his bodysuit. And it also makes articulation impossible, but that's a different conversation for a different figure. Anyway, yeah, so it depends on what kind of figure you're getting. And it depends on what choice that they choose to go with the fabric that they're going to use for the suit of the figure.
Do you think highly of the Mezco brand?
Yes. If you can't tell, Mezco has secretly or openly become my favorite toy brand out of all that I've collected. I mean, granted, I haven't collected a lot of others, but Mezco seems to be the one I've collected more of, and just because they feel like they're in more of an affordability range, just because like Hot Toys be like 300 to 250 to 300 usually for like their baseline figures, but anything else more rare and more sought after tends to be like 450 and up, and I'm not spending that. So like, yeah, Mezco seems to be a little bit more attainable in a sense of like the most you're gonna spend is like 125, sometimes 150 if it's a special edition figure. So and same I've noticed with like Mayfex, their figures are going online for closer to 100. Same with SH Figure Arts, depending on the rarity of the figure. So yeah, I mean, the bang for your buck, I do tend to like Mezco because of the extra amount of care they seem to include.
What are some pros and cons about this figure?
So I guess I'll start with a pro. A pro for this figure is the accessories. And I won't, maybe not even accessories, extra hands. So like the fact that you're given 3 sets of claw hands, 1 opened hand set, 1 fist set, 1 bone claw set. The fact that you're given like 4, almost 5 different Wolverine head scopes. You're given the mask taken off to rest behind his neck, which I couldn't figure out how to get on correctly the last time. I figured it out this time though, thankfully. You're given even like just normal fist. You're given closed fist. You're given retro style Wolverine head sculpts. For anyone who was a fan of him in the early 70s. Doesn't do anything for me, but I'm sure there's a fan base out there for that, so that's included. Where he's got like the small like ear cowls or whatever they're called. I don't know. I'm not a personal fan of those, but I know there are people out there who are. A con, okay. So a con would be the price. 150 does feel a lot for a figure of this scale. 150 starts to like teeter on the line of like a lower end Hot Toy, and it starts to make me feel like, damn, well maybe I could have just saved that and put that towards like a $250 or a $200 Hot Toy and got like more bang for my buck. But then again, it's like, no, because you get so much. So that's one con that I kind of weigh with the figure. Another pro would be the fact that he looks great in photographs. So like if you're someone who likes to pose your action figures and you like to do crazy like comic book or just fighting poses in general, then yeah, this figure is perfect for that. And especially for people who do have their higher end fancy cameras who can do the crazy like effects and different angles with their photos, then yeah, this is definitely a plus side to that. I think the last con I would say would be I do worry about this thin cloth material. It's the same as the Spider-Man. I don't have any rips or any like tears in the seams, but it does make me nervous. And I lied. Another con I have is, and this is just for Mezco as a brand in a whole, and I've noticed this with all higher end figures in general, they tend to use these small pegs to attach the fingers and extra hands to. Just makes me kind of nervous, and I don't understand that. And the shoulder pads fall off every time you extend his arm too high. I think they could have came up with a better way to put those on. Also, the fact that they just kind of made the part that they hook into skin colored, so they don't look natural because he just has 2 grooves on his shoulder, and obviously from afar, yeah, I guess it doesn't. So never mind. I mean, all in all, this is a very, very dope figure. It is worth the money if you're not collecting it for the fact that you need a Wolverine. But if you're collecting it for the fact of the novelty of this figure, then yes, it's definitely a well sought after and dope just focal point of a collection. Like this on top of the Sentinel display base they give you is going to catch eyes for anyone who looks at it. They're going to be like, whoa, that's sick. Because it is. It's honestly sick. The accessories, like I said, I've kind of already gone into detail about accessories in my unboxing video. You're welcome to check that out. Yes, I'm going to plug my video here because I do an in-depth version where I like to show every little detail, every little part that I can of what's inside the box, just so you feel like you see everything and you feel like if you're getting an idea of if this figure is kind of worth your time or not. As far as articulation, there is absolutely nothing at all. You can pack up and go home because there's nothing here to articulate. This figure is a statue. I'm just playing with you. So, I had to do the articulation actually, so the masses didn't riot. When I say there's no articulation, I don't actually mean that. There's articulation. So, you've got a swivel 360 at the bicep. You've got a good double bend there, but it's not going to go further than that. You've got a swivel at the wrist for a good 360, as goes for the other arm. The legs get a good split apart like that. Good forward, about that far back. You bend that far back, you bend like that. Well, got a good swivel at the ankle. Again, nothing crazy, so it's about average. You've got a good 360 on the head. Some of the head sculpts tend to be a little bit looser than others. Like I said, if you overextend, these pop off a lot, and they're sometimes a little bit more tedious to get back on. The head here has a good hinge for articulation. But yeah, so like you've got a good chest bend. Nothing crazy, nothing bad. It's literally just average figure art, modern figure articulation. You've got, I don't actually think you have a butterfly. Oh, look, and it popped off. Okay. I don't really know the community's takes on cloth figures, if they're sought after, if every collector likes them or dislikes them or not. They have their ups and they have their downs, obviously. I will say this Wolverine definitely pulls off his look very well. The aesthetic they were going for, I do very much enjoy. Compared to something like the Spider-Man, the cloth on that, I could see the weaknesses and I could see the failures. On this Wolverine, I don't really see anything where it makes me feel like it's thinning or it's ripping or it's threading and I'm getting nervous. But just be really careful with the over-strenuous movements. I'm on my third Mezco figure in a year now, and I've already started treating them like Marvel Legends figures. Like, I'm overposing them, and it's mainly because I just want to get poses done and see what I can and cannot do, take photos, try out all the different parts and accessories, and I'm just treating these figures a lot less delicately than I know they deserve to be treated. So, my final thoughts on a figure like this, I love the overall presentation. I love the accuracies and that they've taken to enhance the figure in certain liberties. Like I said, I'm not gonna not stress the fact that these aren't toys. Yes, they are called Mezco Toyz, but in reality they should just be treated like posable statues. They have notes here telling you not to be reckless. I myself tend to be reckless, but that's just because I have so many of them. I don't really care because I do care. So I don't know. But yeah, my thoughts on these figures is I'm a big fan of Mezco, and I'm going to support them if they continue dropping IPs to things I like, obviously. Just drop some Star Wars IPs, Mezco.
So, do you think you could recommend this figure?
So can I recommend this figure is the real question that everyone's asking. They're like, Ramses, can you recommend this figure? And honestly, thanks for the help, Megan. Can I recommend this figure? So, to the avid Mezco and Marvel fan and collector, sure, I can recommend this figure. I cannot recommend this figure to someone who, like myself before this, didn't have any other Wolverines and probably should have settled for a Marvel Legends or settled for a Mafex or a SH figure. Oh, is there an SH figure Wolverine? Yeah, I think there's only one coming out. I should have waited, but instead I just saw this and was like, I like Wolverine, I need this in my collection, and I got it. So yeah, I can recommend it to the avid collector, but I don't think I can recommend it to the newbie or the beginner collector. So that's how I'm gonna go about that recommendation. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Anything you do helps. I really appreciate it. Help us keep growing. Leave any comments, feedback, or thoughts down below. Peace out. Reviewing this Wolverine. We doing it for the Wolver fiends. Ooh, he's spitting bars, riding in them cars, going fars, going to Mars. Maybach music. Alright, I can't rap. I'm sorry, guys. Peace out.
Hello.
I know whispering. Yeah.
Why not?
Because I need to.
Ramses. Hello.
You talk about this takes a while.
What do you mean? Ramses, I've got a few questions about this Mezco One.